Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way.
Welcome back to... I nearly forgot the name. Welcome to Three9Teen. My gosh, it's exciting. I feel vulnerable, but that's good. It's good to be expressing yourself to the world, and that's what I want this podcast to be about. Welcome to episode 4, everyone. I hope you're happy. I hope you are smiling. I hope this thing makes you smile. And I hope you're just having the most lovely, wonderful day. Because that's what all that matters, isn't it? It matters that we're all a happy bunch together and all striving forth in this frickin' world that we call planet Earth. This has not started well, but I'm rolling with it because of feedback I received from lovely people who watch this podcast or listen to this podcast. I'm trying to be a bit more confident with myself and just hitting record and just being okay with all of the mistakes that I make that make me a human being. You know what I mean? I've got to fail again and again and again in order to figure out how to not do those in the future. And that is what I want to do. I want to just hit record and just try speak honestly from the heart and talk about the things that I am genuinely passionate about. And hopefully we can connect over and we can talk about and we can just have all sorts of laughs and we can talk about all sorts of things. So it's exciting. 319, yeah, it's 319. If you're watching this right now and it's live, well done to you. Now you understand why it's called 319 is because it is released at 3:19 p.m. on Fridays in Australia. You might not be in the same time zone. You might not be watching this at this exact moment that it's released. And you might be like, why is it 3:19? Well, now you know, don't you? We're all in the know. Last episode, man, that took a lot out of me, to be honest. I'm not saying I'm a hero or anything. A hero of myself. Go forth, Aaron, you reveal your truth. No, honestly, I honestly was just really happy with just expressing myself in that way. I was excited to just be vulnerable and just talk about some things that have been on my mind. And, you know, I've had so many conversations with people lately who all talk to me about their own personal insecurities or, you know, potentially they're going through some tough times and trying to figure out who they are as a person. Life's tough, man. Life is hard. And I just hope that whatever you watch or listen to this podcast for, I hope whatever happens that it just makes you happy, right? And makes you think, because that's what matters. I want to just give a shout out to someone who's not going to watch or hear this. Firstly, to Edie. Well, no, Edie's going to watch this. I was thinking of someone else and then I got insecure and I was like, oh no, Edie will be sad that I didn't say her name first. Edie, I love you. Edie helped me a lot with the last episode, helped me realize that I just needed to be confident and I just needed to let the rhythm of the way that I talk just be the episode. And I was so insecure before, you know, making edits and trying to cut out the ums and the ahs and all the weird pauses that I thought weren't necessary. But it actually, it hurt the episode. It broke the rhythm of it. And I think if I'm trying to be an honest and direct person, a performer, comedian, or whatever I end up doing in this life, I just want to be myself. And I think this is a really big part of that. So thank you, Edie, for just giving me some really amazing insight and feedback into how to pursue this crazy little podcast. So I also wanted to give a shout out to Ron Funches, who is a comedian that I am just obsessed with. He is just this really bright, positive soul. And I've been listening to his podcast a lot lately, which is called Getting Better. A lot of it is just a lot of self-love and just, treating yourself better and considering yourself as the biggest fan and supporter, because you should be the biggest supporter of yourself. I think too often, and this is what I have been listening to a lot in a lot of podcasts where comedians talk about this self-deprecation, and some of you might have already seen or watched Nanette by Hannah Gadsby, where she kind of talks about how she kind of became a comedian through a classic trope of comedy where you shit on yourself just for the benefit of an audience. It's like, don't worry guys, I'm not better than you, I'm also severely broken. Isn't that relatable? And it's okay, I studied a comedy course online, and I've been just absorbing so many things about comedy and the way that you're supposed to do it. And there are all these supposed rules, and self-deprecation is a really big one. It's making sure that when you're talking to your audience, you're not putting yourself above them. And a lot of the time, what comedians have done in the past is they bring themselves down in an effort to level it out. But I don't think it has to be that way. And as I have considered that in terms of comedy, I've also considered it in terms of just life. Like it's a really toxic habit to get into, to, almost shoot yourself before someone else shoots you. And I am such a cynical and negative person, it feels like. And a lot of it is just, I love comedy, and I love political satire, and I've been watching a lot of political satire since the old orange trash bag was elected. And I got so obsessed with it. It was like a reality TV show. I was just crazy about the gossip and the drama and the scandal. And you almost become desensitized to it even being real. Because you're watching, whether you're on YouTube or TV or however you absorb your news media, you're seeing all these updates about this crazy person that everyone pretty much agrees is an insane psychopath. But we still treat him like the trending latest news. It's just, it's another thing that's come out today. And I think when I got so bogged down in all of that Trump business, it just made me really cynical and just lethargic. Like I was just so upset with the way that things just seem to be going, and everything that comes and everything that is represented by the Trump presidency. And I really don't want to get into Trump, and please don't think that I'm going to, but I am. Damn it, Aaron! Don't tell him that. Don't tell him that it's all a lie. Don't, because it's depressing. No one wants to hear about Trump. You don't even want to hear about Trump. So just be honest with them. You are going to show them some more Trump. I am going to show you some more Trump. I'm sorry. I am going to show you more Trump. But I really just want to make this clear that what ultimately matters at the end of the day is our own meaning, right? We all have to find our own meaning. And I think what happens a lot in your 20s, when you leave college or you leave, you get out of maybe your first job straight out of university, and you start to question things, and you start to really contemplate your initial ambitions for going into that field in the first place. And as you go down this road of questioning everything that you are, and you constantly have this, like I know I do anyway, of who am I? What am I supposed to do? And am I doing what I should be doing? I cut it there. Oh dear. A lot of my friends that I've been speaking to lately have been telling me that they've been going through this process of self-reflection. And, that's not uncommon. But I think what's really interesting is that people are, in my age group anyway, are going through this process of trying to figure out what their meaning is. And I think too often people confuse meaning with an end goal. They think that, my ultimate meaning is when I reach this final destination, when I reach this job, or when I reach this goal, or when I reach this amount of money, or whatever your particular, your purpose or meaning, or whatever word you want to use for that. And I think for a long time, I relied too hard on this meaning and this purpose that I thought was important to me. I used to think accolades and awards and money was the important drive in my life, and I came to terms that it wasn't. And it took me a long time, and I'm 27 now, but I'm learning some really valuable insights about myself. And I think why I'm bringing this up is because it's one of those things where it's not the end. You're not going to flip to the end of the book and read the ending and find the meaning. No. What you do is you read through each chapter, and each chapter have particular types of messages in which inform the greater story. And I think that's the way that we should treat our lives. And too often I feel like I get bogged down, in nostalgia valley, trying to figure out, oh man, I miss those times when I was just at Camp America and just hanging around with all my buds and just having a bloody good time. And now look at me. I'm just working away and just driving all their cash money into my bank account in a desperate attempt to stay afloat. But I think what it is it's really easy to get bogged down in the nostalgia of it all. But I think the most important thing is to remember that, you might go through these chapters and things do come to an end. The job that you're in now, or maybe a really cool group of friends, or maybe you're in a flat right now with a bunch of flatmates that you are just having an absolute fantastic time with. And the sad part of it is that people move on. Life is a continual evolution of stories. And I really want to make an effort to appreciate the chapter that I'm in. Every chapter that I ever get in, I want to really just be a bit more present. And I think that's the inner meaning that I want to talk about. It's not the end goal. It's about the journey to that end goal. And it's, meaning itself is such a vague concept, and people have so many different interpretations of it. And that's mine. How about that? That is my interpretation. A meaning isn't necessarily fixed. It is an evolving bacteria in which you have to live with. Okay? You have to live with that. What am I going to talk about today? Well, as I said, I did want to talk about Trump, just like a tiny little bit. But he's got some valuable insights about things. I know, you might be thinking, wait a minute. You were just saying before how much you don't like that orangutan. Well, that's rude to orangutans, Aaron. I'm sorry. I apologize to the community. What I meant to say was a council trash bag. Get it? Because they're orange and his skin is citrusy. Roll the tape. That's awkward. I didn't have it open. Roll the tape.
There's been no president that feels more strongly
No
about
one.
the Second Amendment than I do. However, we need meaningful background checks so that sick people don't get guns. Tremendous goodwill. For meaningful, I'm talking about meaningful, add that word. Meaningful
That word important.
background
It's
checks.
very important.
Meaningful background checks. Meaningful things on background checks. Meaningful, very meaningful background checks. I want to see it happen. Getting something meaningful done. Meaningful. Very meaningful background checks. But we're looking at very, very meaningful background checks.
That's
I don't
good.
just say background checks, because we passed background checks
Exactly.
a number of times, meaning the
It's meaningful.
But I think we have now a chance to do something really much more meaningful.
Meaningful. See, that's what it is. It's just,
Having to do, as you know, with background checks.
just so you weren't clear. You know, if you weren't clear, he was talking about meaningful background checks. So, like, background checks that also happen to be meaningful. So, I'm glad he cleared that up. It's really important to make sure that you're clear on the type of background checks that you're going to be getting up to. You know, you're gonna make sure you're gonna get those meaningful background checks. You're gonna make sure those background checks are meaningful. So thank you, the old Master Chief of the US. Thanks, bro. Appreciate your help with all of this. But no, Aaron, don't get negative. Don't get angry. Just breathe. All right, everyone. I want everyone to breathe. Just chill. It's fine. It's fine. There has been awful people in this world before, and there always will be. But there is also a lot of love in
There's never been a president like President Trump.
And you're gonna get it done.
Yeah. I guess so. No, you know what? Stop it, Trump. You better stop. I am not giving in to your little taunts, your little games. No, sir. No. I refuse to get frustrated. You know what? I'm just gonna brush it off, you know, like he wants meaningful background checks. That makes sense. Commander-in-Chief of the old us. So that's good. That's great. I mean, he's going to be doing background checks that also happen to be full of meaning. And as we talked about, meaning is extremely important. You got to make sure that you're finding the purpose and the true meaning of what you're up to, and he isn't just gonna do background checks.
People don't realize we have very strong background checks right now. You go in to buy a gun, you have to sign up. There are a lot of background checks that have been approved over the years. But just remember this, big mental problem, and we do have a lot of background checks right now.
He might not do background checks. Maybe that's the meaning. Maybe that's the meaning that we get out of this. We were like, when he's saying meaningful background checks, he might be thinking, we're all thinking, mate, he's talking about doing background checks and making background checks, but maybe he was just talking about like non-existent background checks, and that's what's meaningful to him. I mean, I'm really trying to be positive here, Trump. I'm really trying. Help me out here, sir. Help me out. You're not going to help me out. You're not going to help me out. Oh no, just stay positive. Stay positive. See, this is what I was talking about. I was so entrenched in Trump life before, and I just want him to be gone. I just want him to be gone. So then I don't have to indulge in all this stuff. Then I don't have to listen to it all. I apologize for that sound. That was my throat being strange. And we're going to move on now. Anyway, before we end the episode, I really just wanted to touch on just some positive affirmations. You know, like I really want to make sure that this podcast, it isn't cynical. I don't want him to be getting up all in our business. Annoyingly, my video stops, so I had to turn it back on. But what I was saying, right? I don't want this guy to get up in here. I don't want him to be messing with my brains. I want him to just be in my peripheral vision and for me to be like, I know you're there, but you're not important right now, sir. You're not important. So we're going to read out you know what? So I'm not going to read out any positive affirmations. You know, I made an error. I'm sorry. I made an error. I'm actually just going to make up some positive affirmations that have been helping me recently, you know? So here we go. And I'm going to do them in the voice of Christopher Walken. Because Walken is going to walk our way to positivity. I used his last name there to make a joke. Stellar job, Aaron. Here we go. I hope you're strong. You're so big, your hands. You're a big man. You're a large, exciting human being. I'm so impressed by your largeness of your personality. I hope you're happy. I haven't done the Christopher Walken impression in a long time, and I'm hearing it in my headphones, and it doesn't sound too good. Come on, Aaron, you can do better than that. All right, I need to get up. I'm gonna get up, and I'm gonna get behind my chair, and I'm going to. If you're listening to this, I'm actually getting up and kneeling behind my chair for no apparent reason. Maybe it's just going to stretch out my spine and get me rock and rolling. All right, here we go. You say, I'm so excited by your life. I hope you do well, you crazy little critter. It's good to be happy and fulfilled. And if you're not, you should do it. You're crazy if you're not. You better be happy now. Now I'm just being threatening. This isn't positive affirmations. This is just threatening Christopher Walken telling us to be happy. All right, let me give it one more try. All right, who else can help out with this? You know, David actually would do really well with positive affirmations. I think David would do supremely well. Sorry, Walken, you've been replaced. David, can you come in here, please? Can you come on in? Yeah, sorry. Stop making those nature documentaries, please, and come on in. Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers. Come on in. Yeah, just the microphone just there. Cool. Thank you, mate.
What would you like me to say? I would like to say to all listeners of 319 that planet Earth is dying.
No, David! Positive affirmations, things that are happy, exciting, something that's going to make people feel good, you know? One of those.
Right. At the current rate, planet Earth will no longer be a happy place to live in only 12 years of time.
You're really giving me nothing here, David. Look, I like you on the documentaries. You got a good voice, and I like it, but this is not working out, David. Just leave. Just leave, David. Sorry about David, actually, guys. Let me just say, whatever your truth is, whatever you're doing in your life, just please make sure it's whatever gives you joy. Even that was bad. That was bad. That was not a good affirmation. Gosh. All right. Okay. I need to get up and I need to do better. All right. Come on, Aaron. Come on. Maybe I need to get a wider stance. I need to get a wider stance to get more positive affirmations in here, into this guy right here. All right, Road. I'm coming at you, mate. I'm coming at you strong. I really hope that however you're watching or listening to this podcast, I hope with everything that I have that you are happy and that whatever job or school, whatever life experience you're going through right now, embrace every single second of it because it's not going to be there forever. Everything moves on, but what doesn't move on are the memories and the lessons that you learn from every single opportunity. And I am 27 and learning a lot of things that I wish I learned a long time ago. But that cycle of stress and anxiety and worry that you're learning things too late, that is what's going to stop you from learning more in the future. And all I want to do for myself is just be more grateful for where I've come, what I've done, and the person I've become, and also the opportunities for growth that I still have. I'm so grateful for everyone who watches this thing, listens to this thing, and has been inspiring me with their life stories. It's amazing. This world is a crazy, crazy place. And despite the chaos, please take time for yourself. Drink hot cocoa. Hot cocoa is great, you know. It's delicious and it's hot and it's cold right now where I am. And maybe you're listening to this and you're overseas and you're in a different climate and it's hot as shit. And you're like, give me that sweet relief of cold. Well, you just wait, mate. You just wait. Okay. Well, I hope you're feeling good. Hope you're feeling nice and fulfilled and affirmed. Is that a word? I don't know. Before I leave on it, the whole gratitude thing, I wanted to make sure that I'm, being really, really like loving of myself while I'm doing this podcast. Because if I'm just telling you to be positive and I'm not demonstrating examples, then I'm just a hypocrite, aren't I? I'm just being a hypocrite. So I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example for how you can love yourself, right? Okay, so, all right, something about me. I'm a really, really great pedestrian. And I know I'm a really great pedestrian. Like I'm an efficient, insecure but efficient pedestrian. Like I know where you are in the path, and I'm really good at like going around you and anticipating where you're going, and you'll never see me coming. I'll scoot right around you, get out of your way, I'm not a confident pedestrian, but I'm certainly mindful, I always find myself anticipating which way they will go to. I don't want to feel like a burden. I don't want to feel like a hassle. And then the flip side of that is that I'm such a frustrated, short-tempered weirdo that if you don't show me the same consideration, I'm secretly hating you. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be all judgmental and angry at people. I just want people to get along and walk around each other efficiently. And while I'm efficient, I'm not confident, but God, what I would give to be a confident pedestrian. Oh, I would give up a leg. Wait, and then I couldn't be a pedestrian technically if I did that. I would be a pirate pedestrian. I would do anything, even if I had to be a pirate pedestrian with a wooden leg, I would do it. I would do it happily. I see these confident pedestrians. Don't know if you've seen them. Usually they're kind of dawdling across the road, not really minding traffic. I don't know if drugs and alcohol is involved, but I probably assume so. But they just seem so confident, don't they? And I, you just want to be them a little bit, don't you? I see them, you know, like not even looking at the cars that are speeding past, and they're just walking across the red light pedestrian crossing. And I'm like, look at that guy. He doesn't have a care in the world. I don't want a care in the world. I want that kind of carelessness. I want that confidence. Because there's usually like 2 different types of confident pedestrians in that way. There's either the pedestrian guy who's kind of like a traffic warden. He's walking across the road and he's like flipping off all the cars, you know, hey, get fucked, mate. And all the cars are tooting. He's like, and the cars are like, you shouldn't be here. And they're just driving along. And he's just getting angry. He's like, but the other type of confident pedestrian, which personally is my role model and who I aspire to be, is the guy that just walks across the road and just doesn't look at anyone. He just walks across. I bet anyone listening to this right now has seen this happen. And if you don't admire this person as much as I do, I am judging you right now. You might have the same level of confidence as he does, but he has the confidence to think that the cars are going to stop for him. He's trudging along. His eyes are forward. He's not traffic wardening. He's the opposite of traffic wardening. He is traffic. He's walking across the road and he's just not looking either way. And like cars are like speeding past and he's just walking along, just not even looking. The fucking red light pedestrian is there and the cars are tooting. People on either side are just hoping for dear life that he doesn't get hit. He's like parting the Red Sea like Moses, just cruising along, cars making way for him. That's a level of confidence that I'm aiming for. Anyway, I'm going to end you with that. Yeah, how about that podcast episode? That was full of meaning. So much meaning in that episode. So much meaning. You could say it was a meaningful background check. So much meaningful background checks. It's the most tremendous background check. Background check. Anyway, thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening wherever you are. Please hit subscribe and like and share and do all the things, you know, just help me out to help you out by sharing this crazy thing that I call it a podcast, but there's video too. Should I call it a vidcast? I'm sure that's been said before. Anyway, not important. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next week with another episode. Bye now.
It's so important to consider this question. What do I desire? Desire.